It's just a stray. Why are you wasting your time?" People walked past, shaking their heads as Ethan crouched beside the injured dog. Blood matted its fur, its eyes dull with pain. "You need help, buddy, and I won't leave you like this." He tore a piece of his old jacket, wrapped it around the dog's bleeding leg, and lifted it in his arms. He had no money, barely enough food for himself, but that didn't matter. He rushed the dog to the nearest vet, ignoring the hunger gnawing at his stomach. What Ethan didn't know was that this one act of kindness was about to change his life forever. Hey everyone, welcome to Legacy Tales, where small moments lead to big surprises. Stay with us till the end. Because this story, it's not what you think. Ethan waited outside the clinic, tapping his foot anxiously. The vet had taken the dog in, but he couldn't afford the bill. He'd figure something out. Maybe an extra shift at the gas station, maybe selling his old radio. But he wasn't about to let the dog suffer. Minutes turned into hours. Then, finally, the vet walked out. "He's stable now. Lucky dog. Someone else already covered the bill." Ethan frowned. Someone else? Confused, he walked into the treatment room and saw a note attached to the dog's cage. "Compassion is priceless, but sometimes fate pays you back in ways you never expect." No name, no signature. Ethan stared at the note, heart pounding. Who had written this? And why did it feel like this was just the beginning? Ethan couldn't shake off the strange feeling. The note, the paid bill, it didn't make sense. Who would cover the cost for a stray dog? And why? He sat beside the dog's cage, gently running a hand over its fur. The poor thing twitched in its sleep, whimpering softly. Ethan sighed. "Don't worry, buddy, you're safe now." But deep inside, he knew he wasn't. His rent was overdue, his fridge was nearly empty, and the manager at the gas station had already warned him, "One more late shift, Ethan, and you're out." Just as his thoughts spiraled, the clinic's door swung open. A man in a dark suit walked in, scanning the room. His gaze landed on Ethan, and he strode forward with purpose. "Are you Ethan Miller?" the man asked. Ethan stood up slowly. Who was this guy? And why did he sound like he already knew him? Yeah. Who's asking?" The man didn't answer immediately. Instead, he pulled out an envelope and held it out. "My employer wants to meet you. You'll understand everything soon." Ethan hesitated. Employer? Meeting? What was going on? "And who exactly is your employer?" Ethan asked, crossing his arms. The man smirked. "You'll find out tomorrow, but I'd suggest you don't refuse." Before Ethan could say another word, the man placed the envelope on the counter and walked out. For a moment, Ethan just stood there, staring at the door. This wasn't real. This kind of thing didn't happen to guys like him. His fingers trembled as he picked up the envelope and slowly peeled it open. Inside was a plane ticket. First class. Ethan's heart pounded. His throat went dry. What the hell is happening? The dog whimpered again, snapping Ethan back to reality. "Yeah, buddy, I feel the same way." Tomorrow he was supposed to get on a flight, but for what? And who was behind all this? One thing was clear. His life was about to change. But how? Ethan stepped off the plane, gripping the straps of his worn-out backpack. The airport was grand, unlike anything he'd ever seen. Marble floors, chandeliers hanging from the ceiling, men in suits walking like they had the world in their pockets. He felt out of place, like an intruder in someone else's dream. A man in a dark suit waited for him at the exit, holding a sign with his name. Ethan hesitated. His mind raced with questions. Who was behind all of this? Why him? The car ride was silent. Ethan sat in the back, staring out the window as towering buildings and luxury stores passed by. The streets looked like they belonged in a movie. Finally, the car stopped in front of an estate so massive it barely looked real. The gates opened automatically. Ethan's breath hitched. Who in the world lived here? The butler led him through a grand hallway, and at the far end, an old man sat by the fireplace. His silver hair was neatly combed back, his suit perfectly pressed. But it was his eyes that caught Ethan's attention. There was something familiar in them. "Ethan," the man said, his voice steady yet warm. "Do I know you?" Ethan asked, his heart racing. The old man smiled faintly. "No, but I know you. And more importantly, you knew someone very dear to me." Ethan frowned. Before he could ask, the man picked up a photo frame from the table beside him and turned it toward Ethan. Ethan's breath caught in his throat. It was a picture of a young boy hugging a stray dog. His mind reeled. He knew that dog. He had seen it just 2 days ago. "That's Buddy," Ethan whispered. The old man nodded. 40 years ago, that stray saved my life. I was just a kid, abandoned on the streets, and Buddy never left my side. He kept me warm on freezing nights, protected me when I had no one. I promised him that if I ever made it, I would repay the kindness." Ethan's eyes widened. "So you're saying—" The old man's eyes shimmered. "You saved Buddy's son, and now I'm here to repay that debt." Before Ethan could even process the words, the butler stepped forward with a sleek black case. He placed it on the table and flipped it open. Stacks of cash, neatly arranged, piles and piles of $100 bills. "That's $1 million, Ethan, and that's just the beginning." Ethan stumbled back. This doesn't make sense. I just paid for a dog's surgery. I didn't do anything to deserve this." The old man smiled. "Kindness never goes unnoticed, my boy. You didn't expect anything in return, and that's exactly why you're getting everything." Tears welled in Ethan's eyes. For the first time in years, he felt seen. He felt valued. The old man placed a gentle hand on Ethan's shoulder. "Take this, and promise me one thing. When the time comes, pass the kindness forward." Ethan wiped his eyes, nodding. "I will. I swear I will." Kindness is never wasted. It might not return instantly, but one day, in the most unexpected way, life will repay you for the good you put into the world. What do you think of Ethan's story? Did it touch your heart? Let us know in the comments. Tell us, where are you watching from? And most importantly, have you ever experienced kindness coming back to you in unexpected ways? Share your story.